What is up, everybody? My name is Darrin, and welcome to the live stream of Stock Mafia. As we wait for some people to jump in here, let's go over what is going on in the market this morning. We got APE at $1.96. Market's obviously down. AMC is red, 626. And where's our boy GME? Even GME is down, which is disappointing, honestly. I was hoping that we would continue to see some GME green. It's at 25.23. So, hey, what's going on? All in AMC. Love the tag. How you feeling? Good morning. Yeah, if you're new here, if you're new into this, it's an open platform. It's not ultra organized, but it's very easy for all of us to talk about our favorite stocks, if they are our favorite stocks. Now they're like the sibling you can't get rid of. That's kind of how I view them. You buy more than nice. Yeah, I mean, if you're buying, it's fun to watch. If you're just sitting in your position, walk away. Check it like twice a day. People always say set alerts. I don't trust alerts for nothing. That's like when you set an alert for a notification on the YouTube channel for, not YouTube, but Twitter. When they put tweets, like I'm supposed to get like notifications when Adam Aaron and Ryan Cohen tweet. I never get those. So hopefully when Elon takes over, we'll get a real Twitter. I think that is a really big thing for everybody. Obviously, we all want to make money, but in the grand scheme of things, I think Elon owning Twitter will change the game a lot, especially when it comes to market manipulation and news manipulation. Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to hit those marks. And I remember when I was buying, I'm done buying. I really am. Unless something crazy happens. I mean, if you watch my video, I said you go on APE. Not financial advice, but I'll be getting more bananas. I'll be buying bananas when it goes under $1. Definitely. So we got to talk in code sometimes, and you guys get that. I'm sure there's legal ramifications. I think you do take a risk when you put yourself out here on platforms like this, and people are like, "You shill showing up so late," and I'm like, "Dude, kiss off." I mean, yeah, I showed up late, but part of the reason was I moved and bought a new house, or I would have been here 6 months earlier. Yeah, I mean, and guys, like I said, all in AMC. Please ask questions. Tell me how you're feeling. I mean, I love it. Yeah, buying more shares of any of your stocks that you like right now is great. If you guys have watched my videos, and I appreciate it if you have, it's just a question of, I don't believe we've hit the bottom in this market, but we might have hit the bottom with our meme stocks. I mean, how much lower can they go? Because like I said, they're triggering people to really pour in and buy. And they don't want that. So I think, I'm looking at, you look at the screen, but I'm looking at it too. It's like, we're going to keep bouncing around. I wouldn't be surprised that we hit $2. Well, we did already hit $2 today, but that it keeps bouncing around probably through midterms. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, man. I'm sure you guys agree with me. I'm so disappointed in this shit. And I have to stop cursing. I cursed so much in my last video. I think my views went down. I think they probably like backed off of your search engines and all that stuff. So I'm gonna try to be good. I need to get some street cred. Let me pull the microphone closer to me. Now you guys can probably hear me better. Sorry about that. Ill prepared. It's not just a prop. Do you think it'll really run after midterms? I don't think it's going to run before it. I think everything is in place for the blame game and the political blame game. Meaning, I mean, let's think about it. I mean, Gary Gensler mentioning Ken Griffin's name and saying they're doing an investigation. He's not going to do anything. Nothing's going to happen to this guy. I mean, if it does, it does. But we see what happens. It's just get fined. Like, I love how you can just commit. Like, you're not robbing a bank. You're robbing like 100 banks. If you rob 100 banks, you get fined. If you rob one bank, you go to jail for 35 years. I mean, that's the disappointment. So to answer your question, do I think it's going to run after midterms? Yeah, because all the blame is set in place, and you guys can comment on this as well and express your opinion. Obviously, I will read it. Gensler Gensler, let's just say he's a Joe Biden guy, so let's just say he's a Democrat. And understand this, if you haven't understood me, I could give I could care less about I could care less about politics. I think they're all a bunch of crooks. And do I like one over the other? Yeah, but I've liked the other over the other, 10 years ago. Now, I wasn't like a big George W. fan. I thought he was a clown. But then, I didn't like the candidates when, so do I like Trump? I guess not really. I mean, he's a little bit of a something, I don't know if he's that great of a person, but what's going on right now? I mean, Gensler is a Democrat and he hasn't done anything since he's been appointed. And what I think is going to happen is after midterms, it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, they're all crooks. Yeah, so all an AMC is saying, if you're just listening, red or blue, I think all politicians are crooks once they see the money. Yeah, it's and it's like it's like a secret club. You get in there and you think you're going to help people, and you get in there and listen. I think it could happen to the best of us. Think about it. You get elected senator of your state, whether it's, for me, let's say Pennsylvania. So I get in there and I'm like, I'm going to clean this crap up. And they're like, listen, bro, if you don't start taking this money that people are giving us, none of your laws are going to pass. Nothing's going to get done. So you got to play the game. And you start playing the game and you start taking insider tips because everybody else is doing it. And you start living this life because everybody else is doing it. This is live, Chris. This is live. What's up, nerd alert? What's that mean? Joey, it's funny, man. I got a crazy brain, man. Crazy brain. Will you get the hell out of Robinhood? You're like, yo, bro, why you remember my stuff? But going back to the political side, I think if it gets past midterms, think about this, and I'm sure you have. They can this if the Republicans win, which it looks like they're going to, they're going to vote Pelosi out. She'll probably step down before they, just to kind of like look better. So Pelosi will leave. Then they'll come back and try. They might even get rid of Gensler and put somebody else in, and then, or maybe leave Gensler in there and just allow what is coming to just go down, meaning like the financial markets. And Chris, I am bullish on all meme stocks. I'm bullish on the market because the whole market's been shorted and manipulated. And I've said before, if they could have stopped 2008, they would have. And so they're trying to stop 2022. So, yeah, and I pushed this guy, and I've recommended other people, and I've backed off of them, and I'm not even going to say their names. I will tell you one thing, and I keep making different points, and I never really finish any of them. I follow AMC Bigums. I think he is very smart. I think he is genuine in the information that he puts out. Now he's big on ripping on YouTubers and stuff, and that's cool. One thing that he has to understand about people on YouTube is like guys like me, we might not have the background or the, I don't know, wherewithal. I wouldn't say intelligence because I understand everything he's talking about, but he really digs into stuff that I've never thought of and never thought to find. But he opens doors and we walk in them. And if you're not following him and you're an investor in this, I highly recommend you follow him. I've DM'd him a couple times just to introduce myself. He could care less, which is fine by me. You eventually will pay attention to me, damn it. But and Chris, I'm going to answer your stuff in a second. But just clarify my point. I mean, if they get rid of Gensler or the thing crashes, they'll replace Gensler because he's a Biden guy. And we're talking about Republicans doing that. And that's all like just finding the right person to blame because we all know what's coming down the pike. I mean, you can see it. These hedge fund guys are selling assets. Mr. Miami is down there selling houses for cash, selling his Chicago house for half what it's worth. This whole like have bed bugs, which I think is kind of funny. I'm sure that I don't know if that's really true. I mean, come on, seriously. Your penthouse is worth like $20 million or $10 million and you have bed bugs. Well, you just fumigate it. You know, that's just funny to me. So it's one of those things where I just think the blame game's coming down the pike. So I'm going to answer Chris's questions. Chris is saying bullish on AMC. Yeah, totally bullish on AMC. Never gonna leave. It's funny. I was, and you guys probably will appreciate this, and ladies as well. My wife is talking to me. She's like, "How long is this gonna go on? Maybe you should, get a job." and I do day trade for a living, and my funds have kind of like flatlined. And I'm not like struggling or anything like that. But I told her, I said, listen, if this goes to maybe January and I'm sitting in the same spot I am today, yeah, I'll get out there. I mean, it's either a sales position or I'm teaching again, like whatever. Like, but I will tell you this. So the reason I share that story with you is I'm not selling a single share. Nope, not selling anything. I will go out there, and I appreciate this, and actually I probably would enjoy it. I'll go put roofs on houses. Like I'll do what I need to do to keep this going because we are sitting on a volcano, and that volcano is going to spew money when the time is right. It just is. So hit a small speed bump today. Hedge funds are going to get destroyed. I mean, they're showing their hand already. I'm just reading Chris's stuff. Childs, what's happening, bro? I'm deep 93. Okay, so you got 9,300 shares. Yeah, I'm with you. Like, if you're buying bananas, this is not grocery advice, but I am a grocer. If you're buying bananas, that's when you watch the price. Other than that, just walk away and just wait. History repeats itself. Stock market is going nowhere but up from here. Yeah, I mean, this whole and I love this stuff really pisses me off. And this is part of the reason that I try to that's why I wanted to get on YouTube. I hate when the mainstream media and even Wall Street uses these words to kind of intimidate you. Capitulate. That's the newest word. Kiss my, what? Capitulate. Capitulate means they want everyone to sell. Why don't you capitulate? Why don't you close your short positions? You want the market to go up? Capitulate. I mean, I feel like I'm taking the goddamn SATs with these guys. They say these words. I got to Google everything. I see AMC, but GME stores are always empty. Well, I tell you what, so I'm on the GME thing, and I'm big with the NFT stuff. Not the NFTs, no offense to everybody that got their gold mine. I don't give a crap about that. To me, that's just a digital picture. Maybe one day that stuff will be worth money if this thing runs to $500,000. But yeah, Chris, I hope you're kidding about the suicide thing. But I get it what you're talking about in terms of just feeling low. And that's why I'm here. And you guys will know, like, I'll answer your questions. I mean, your comments and stuff. Don't ever, it's not worth it. Just remember this: if you're at the brink of, say, leaving this earth, do something crazy, man. Buy and hold. I don't want to see anybody. That's the crazy part about the stock market. It does mess with your brain. So, and I've said this many times: take a shower, go for a walk, go to the gym. If you don't join the gym, I go to Planet Fitness. It's $10 a month. So, go to the gym. You'd be surprised how that'll clear your mind. And when you're walking on that treadmill and you're just sitting it on 3.0 or 4.0, which is a nice leisurely walk, you clear your mind and start thinking about, like, what's going on. So just remember, we're all in this together. We really are. And one day we will all celebrate together. And that's really how I view it. I consider everybody on here as my friend. And I hate saying that. Not that I hate saying that, but it's overblown. I mean, our big boy from Harlem, I unsubscribed to him yesterday. I've had enough of him. I used to watch him and I thought he gave good information, but the clear message to a lot of these guys is you got to unsubscribe to them and find somebody else to listen to. I'm out here. I make videos. I try to talk about stuff that I think is worth talking about, and I don't try to overdo anything. I mean, if I see 3 videos on, I don't know, Ken Griffin selling his house in Miami, I'm not going to make a video on it. So street cred, good morning. Capitulation is not part of our language. I know. And it isn't. It's stupid. And it's just a way to intimidate people. Like I said, that my big thing is don't follow the old man playbook. And that's the whole thing. Childs, what are you talking about? All right, Childs, breaking news off the street. Childs, you're not in Pennsylvania, are you? I'm gonna actually, why don't I just do it up here? So Childs is talking about, he just said, did I hear about the Pennsylvania police pension? No, I did not. And guys, let me just tell you something. You want me to, like, be upfront and honest with you. I'm a tenured school teacher in the state. I don't teach anymore, but I guess once you're tenured, you're tenured. Child's in Texas, but I am gonna look up that. Childs is telling, did I hear about the Pennsylvania police pension? What happened? Or you were telling me to look it up? See, this is the stuff that Bigums has been talking about. And my thing and one thing is, like, I haven't, let me see, in the news, as pensions go broke. Oh, here we go. Well, this was talking about the city of Chester. I saw this. You mentioned it last night. Who'd you mention it to? Me? Do you guys know anything about, and this is not to, I don't want to make money off this at all. These Discords, are they free? Because it would be fun if it seems like they are free. You just set them up and then all of you can talk while I get in there and talk, which is kind of fun. Yeah, bottom line is, I just saw this. It says pensions are going broke in Chester, which is just a lower income area in Pennsylvania. So I live in Pennsylvania outside of Philadelphia. So just to give you guys an idea in the United States, because I know there's a lot of international people that jump on here because our times line up. And yeah, if you're on this feed and you've never been on it before, make sure you subscribe. I appreciate that. It's just a question of, honestly, I make videos pertinent to what I believe we need. And I say that as investors, as retail investors, and we need to get our message across that we're all here, because I know that especially most of our family doesn't want to hear from us anymore. Put in the chat if you agree with me. Does your wife or significant other or your family want to hear any more about AMC and GameStop and the corruption? I put in the chat if they want to hear that, because if I say it one more time, my wife's gonna punch me in the nose. They used to, she even said, she goes, God, you said last summer you would always say 2 weeks. And I'd be like, well, next Friday, the option chain is looking really heavy. I'd give all my information to her, and she would just be like, you've been saying 2 weeks for 2 years. So we'll put that on a t-shirt. So when I start getting merch, 2 weeks is 2 years. I mean, come on. I get it, man. And if you're not in it, you don't understand. And we just sound like a bunch of crazy people who go to cornfields and look for aliens. Yeah, Childs, if you can find it, because you see, I just did Pennsylvania police pension. Did they say any keywords like broke? Pensions go. I mean, he keeps talking about Chester, and I read that article yesterday. Let me see. Yeah, I got nothing. But the point I was trying to make when I was telling you guys I was a teacher is I have money in a pension. I don't know how much. It's not a lot, because if I retire, I guess when I technically say, hey, I'm retired, even though I'm never probably going to teach again unless I find the right opportunity, they're probably stealing from my pension fund. And it's funny how they do it. So in 2008, they did the same thing. Excuse me, I got the hiccups. In 2008, they did the same thing where they took money from pension funds, and how they kind of reshuffled it was kind of interesting. They grandfathered everybody in that was in there. So that everybody that already had their money in there, they didn't technically lose any money. But then every incoming teacher had to actually contribute more to the retirement. And I think they get less when they retire. So pretty interesting, huh? And they wonder, and now Pennsylvania pays their teachers okay, better than most states. But you have to get to, we always call it the premier districts in the suburbs. So you want to have one of those type of jobs, because otherwise you don't get paid that well and you don't get treated that well. Because let's be honest, my kids get on my nerves. So you don't think your kids get on the nerves of teachers? And you know how we all want to kick our kids out of the house and say, go to school? Well, that's how teachers have to deal with those kids all day long. So I mean, the benefit of teachers, yeah, I get it. Like, they have off summers and all that stuff, but across the country, they do not get paid very well. And I don't understand. That's part of the reason I had to leave. It's just, doesn't pay. It does not pay. You almost have to do like something on the side, like day trade, to kind of like keep things going. Oh, Chris, that's funny. Griffiths, that's why I'm buying more AMC shares. That's totally. That's awesome. Yeah, you got to keep them happy, Chris. Got to keep them happy, man. And Child's is saying the older generation does not understand. Doesn't understand what? I mean, I'm sure it was something I was talking about. But yeah, if you're in this feed, please, throw up your questions. Let's talk. I'm gonna try to. Childs, if you can find that article, did they say? I would love to know about that, because that's big news. So, like I was saying before, and let me bring him up here. This is my man here. He is right now. I know sometimes we all followed Trey, or we followed. I don't know who the hell follows Matt Kors. I don't get that one at all. I'm sorry. I don't understand that. He's like I don't know. He's like a cartoon character for the stock market. I don't think he knows what he's talking about. Never seen him do anything. And yeah, I'll rip him. Whatever. Just not my TV show. You got to find somebody you relate to. And I don't relate to him. All right, Bigums. Yeah, I mean he has YouTube videos, so he has YouTube videos, and they're long as long can be. But it's good information because the bottom line is, guys, oh yeah, thanks, Chris. No, I appreciate that. I appreciate any if you guys find me relatable and you think I've got your back, which I can sit there and tell you all day that I do, but until you that's why I come on these live streams, because I think it's important, one, to put your face on the camera. So if you got a guy that you follow and he never puts his face on camera, even though Bigums doesn't, which is fine because his information is so clutch that just like let him do his thing. He's obviously not in it he doesn't cut his videos. I mean, his videos should be like, he should do 10 videos, 10 minutes long. He'd have 10 times the amount of viewers and subscribers. That's how I view it. That's how I feel about him. And I agree with a lot of stuff he says. Like, pension funds have to go down. I mean, not pension funds, but banks have to go down. And they are. And they're selling assets. They're doing all sorts of stuff and it's funny. We don't find about the sale. We find about when it happened, when the sold. When the sign gets on the front yard and says for sale, we're not finding out about that. We're only finding about when it didn't sell. And then we didn't find about Credit Suisse was trying to sell their headquarters, and we didn't find out about that it was sold until the sale did not go through. And then that was breaking news. So we are not on the know. That's why it's very hard to trade in this market right now, because we all know that data is manipulated, and it's more manipulated now than it ever has been. Back in the day when DFV was making money on GameStop, he was getting real data. He found out it was short at 143%. We don't see those numbers anymore. We know they are there, but we don't know. We don't see those numbers. But what I was talking to Chris is saying he was going to share my stuff on social media. Like I said, I appreciate that, because getting people like me and other people that are talking a message of hang in there, things are falling. It might be going slower than we all feel that we want it to, but there's no reason to sell those bananas. That's the bottom line. I mean, if you look at the environment, as they always say, like zoom out. And when you zoom out and you look at this chart, you're like, oh my God, Ape, $2 now, finally $2. Are you supposed to be happy about that? But if you zoom out, look at companies, and I always look at Under Armour. It had a $24, had a 52-week high of $27. And this wasn't that long ago. Now it's at $7. Carvana, this is a funny one. I don't know if you guys, and I follow Carvana just because I bought my car through them, and I thought that was the easiest and best thing I ever did in my life. I got a great price, better price than the dealership. They delivered it to my house. They took a trade-in off of my car. My car was getting, I think they matched what the dealer was going to give me, which, you're never going to get exactly what you want when you do a trade-in. And, but look at Carvana, $17 right now. Low of the day was $16.44. Wow. Look at the 52-week high, $309.50. $309. Now, I don't know what I've heard some rumors about accounting issues with Carvana, and I've sort of followed it but let's be honest, I could care less about any other stocks in this market besides two right now. And unless it's HYMC or Bed Bath and Beyond because it's linked to our two CEOs, I'm not looking at that stuff, Yeah, Chris, I'm with you, man. I mean, and that's the whole thing. Why is media telling us to capitulate, which is just telling us to sell? Because they don't want to cover their short position. They have the money to do it. They do not want to cover your short position, but they want you to sell your shares. They will use their money to buy up your stuff because they want to buy low in this market. I mean, they want to buy low. And that's what they're doing. They're buying low. Though this market will recover because they'll be like, well, when we start buying. But if we hold what we hold, and as retail investors, there's no reason to sell. And that's why I've always said, and it's always going to be lesson one in anything I talk about when it comes to trading. Buy something you want to hold forever and sell it tomorrow. But if you buy stock and you get buried in it, hold it forever. You believe in Carvana? Buy it today. Hold it forever. That's the kind of stuff. Like you believe in another stock, a Twitter, you buy it today. You hold it forever. And if you get up enough money, you sell, take some profits. That's how you make money in this market. That is how you do it. And have never go all in. You got $10,000, you're buying a stock. You don't go buying $10,000 worth of that stock. You don't do it because you can't, I don't care. This technical analysis crap. Like I get it. It works to a certain degree. It's one part of a math problem. Like it's like the top. And what I mean by that is you can do all your lines and your Fibonacci's and your Bollinger Bands and all that stuff. But the bottom line is that'll help you maybe get a position in the short term, but you don't know what's going to happen 3-4 weeks from now. You just don't know. And all those bands and lines that all these guys talk about, that is, like I said, it's one thing. I mean, I look at that when I'm buying a stock. Yes, I'll draw lines. I'll zoom out. I'll look at, and that. I mean, it's hard to use it's hard to use our stocks like the apes and all that stuff. But I'll zoom out and look and be like, okay, well, it hit the bottom here in the past 3 days, and even if I'm looking at it, I'm like, all right, well, what was the lowest it went? You're like, all right, $1.67. I mean, if I was in this range and I was looking to get some, I might go in this way because I'm holding it forever. Because my belief is that Adam Aaron is going to at least get this thing to $10, $12, $15 before he drops his shares. Now, I've made a video that said that I think that he might have sold it. I was just guessing. And I was making a point that we can all guess and all this stuff and all this. What does he mean by mentioning the number 4? But mentioning the number 4 times the float, fourth quarter, I sold everything at $4. I don't know, man. Who the hell knows? And to be honest with you, that it's the same way I feel about that. Like, I gotta be honest with you. When I got my email yesterday, it said that I could download that We Have Gold NFT. I was like, you know what? I am not a 2-year-old. I don't need a goodie bag. Get your little digital crap out of here. Like, I'm sorry, guys. If you like that stuff, awesome. But I like money. And I'm in it for money. And will I come back to AMC? Let's say this thing rips and I get my price and I get my money, yeah, I'll come back to AMC. You know why? Because this is an amazing fundamental play. If he pays all his debt off, if Adam Aaron pays AMC's debt off, and then he's able to buy the prime locations of Regal Cinemas, Cineworld. I mean, he's a global monopoly of the movie theater business. He can go to Hollywood when they say, hey, we're dropping a movie here, Maverick 2, Avatar 3, and he can charge them more money and make more money. AMC is a great play. That's why like dilution and selling ape, like there's nothing wrong with it, because if he can get out of this hole, you're short in AMC, go short Apple. I mean, the shorts are going to have to get the hell out of that movie theater biz because it's going to rip just on fundamentals alone. So Chris is saying, talking to my account manager during the mid-August run-up, he tried to convince me that I should sell my shares. I told him, yeah, I'm with you, man. That's funny. Yeah, that's wild. I'll get into, I wanted to ask Child something. Sorry, because I'm jumping all over the place. So Child, you said you're in the know. So somebody said something about, so you kind of, it's like and I'm with you, man. This is the trust me bro stuff, but I'm cool with that because this is the trust tree. Something's going on with the Pennsylvania police pension. That doesn't surprise me. So yeah, we'll see that, and we'll see what comes of it, man. That's interesting news. We don't wish for anybody to lose money, because when we wish for other people to lose money, and when I say other people, the 99%, I don't give a rat's behind about them. I don't care about them, their selfishness, their greed. It's funny, when I dream about having those millions from our squeeze play, you know what I would love to do? So I have a business. I sell a product on Amazon. I would love to build that business, employ people, have a good wage, and just come into work every morning and they say, hey, Darrin, this is what's going on. This is awesome. We're doing great. And that feeling, it's almost like Christmas. It's better to give a gift than receive a gift. Like, I'm past receiving gifts. Like, I don't need anybody to buy me anything. I don't need Christmas gifts. I don't get any real joy from them unless it's like my little kids giving me stuff. And I'm sure, you guys probably feel somewhat the same way, or at least you can relate to what I'm saying. But man, if I could build my business and have people that I care for and trust, and we make a successful business, that would be amazing. And if I'm providing that outlet for them to make good money, because I got to be honest, just being a highly educated individual, it's tough out there to even find a really good paying job. And when I say good paying job, I'm just saying like over $80,000. I mean, it's just ridiculous how nobody pays anything. Everything is now entry level, but they want 10 years experience. So let me, because Chris is really contributing a lot to this chat, and I appreciate it. So Chris is saying that his financial advisor advised him to buy a different stock. And Chris said, yeah, until dude, 2K, like, I gotta be honest, your price, Chris is throwing a price target of $2,000. It's not a bad price target. I get a lot of that question. What are my brackets in the comments? I don't really have brackets. That stuff changes. I tell you what, one thing I will tell everybody is don't sell it all at once. Okay? Don't sell it all at once. Unless you're just like blown away, unless it's like 50,000 a share and you're just like, you know what? I'm out. But that's what I'll tell everybody. Chris is saying, I'm looking forward to rubbing it in when AMC Most happens. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, man. I mean, it's gonna be something. I think about it sometimes when it happens, whether it's just us on this stream at one point. I'm sure when this thing takes off, my let's be honest, guys, my stream will probably have 5,000 people in it. And I get that. What's up, Leo? Leo, were you ever in my chat before? You're not Leo the YouTuber lion, are you? I think, Leo, I might have saw one of your tweets. Yeah, there's a guy on YouTube called Lion Trader, and his first name is Leo. First time. Yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for coming in, Leo. Welcome to the squad. Welcome to the Mafia. First 1,000 people are all made men and women. And if you don't know what that means in the Mafia, if you're made, you're like protected. You can't be killed. You have to get permission from the Godfather. You have to go to the Godfather and ask him, can I take one of these guys out before? So if you get made, that's a real compliment in the Mafia world. Yeah, Chris is saying I'd sell a few, but it's ripping. But if it's ripping, I'm going nowhere. Darrin, we will need to inflict maximum pain to these thieves. I totally agree. And we will. Because when people get down, and that's why I'm here, because I get down too. I'm not going to sit there and say that I've got it all figured out in my head because I have my down times. But the bottom line is, if you break it down and you step back a little bit, they need the middle class for the stock market. And what do they need the middle class for? Because I can't wait to start making these videos. I think 401ks are bullshit. I do. I think ETFs are bullshit. If you are going to give that type of money and hand it to somebody blindly and let them manage it, they're stealing from you. I've proven over the past 6 years that I can make probably 30% in the market in my sleep. In my sleep, by just picking a few stocks that I like and I know that have value. The problem with these ETFs, these 401ks, they bury their bad bets in there with good stuff. So you can look at it and you'll say, oh, here's my ETF or here's my 401k. And even if you're allowed to look at the guts of it, which sometimes you're not, you will find that they bought 10 stocks. And yeah, they bought Apple and Microsoft and this little growing company called Netflix and all that stuff. But they're also buying stuff you've never heard of. And big surprise, that stuff is down because they're throwing bad crap into your fund and using your money to cover their bad bets. And that's what they're doing right now. That's what they're doing right now. That's why everybody says they're stealing from pension funds. Yeah, they're throwing their bad bets in these pension funds. And do I understand all this derivative and swap? I know what they're doing, but I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to know about how to commit a crime to understand the market. You know what I'm saying? Like, so sometimes we'll be like, oh, it's a swap, a derivative swap, and all this other crap that they talk about. It's really like, who cares? Because it's almost like me teaching you how to properly break into a house. You're like, why do I need to know that? I really don't want to rob anybody. Oh, well, and don't forget, if you get in the house and somebody comes up on you, this is how you kill them. I mean, that's sometimes you start digging into this stuff and you think like, oh, I don't understand the market because I don't know what they're doing. They're committing crime. Like, you can understand that much. Trading debt for each other, shuffling their positions to hide it from people so they can't find it. That game ends. That game is all they extend is time. And that's what's happening right now. And that's the greatest part about it. They never thought we would hold this long. They never thought. Why would they? They've been doing the same thing for probably 120 years. The old man playbook that we don't play by anymore. And you'll hear me keep saying it and saying it. Rough justice, Chris. Yeah. What's rougher than losing all your money? I think some people would lose a finger before they would lose $100,000. So I think what's rougher is losing all your money. So Leo, you watched my number 4 video and still thinking what so you're still trying to figure it out. Yeah. And that's what I was that's the point I was trying to get across. Nobody actually really knows what the heck he's talking about. But you guys do know that I'm going to the movies on Friday, right? He's coming to not my hometown, but within a relative close driving distance. Probably gonna take me like 45 minutes or something to get there. Yeah, he's coming to Neshaminy. Adam Aaron is coming for another one of these movie premieres, which is interesting to me because he just did one in Atlanta on Friday. Now, Adam Aaron is from the Philadelphia area, so I don't know if he's was going to be here anyway, and that's why he's doing it. But he also could be here maybe to, it seems like announcements and stuff follows after he does these premieres. Like he did this showing in Atlanta, and then the thing popped up that he was paying down debt and he didn't owe anything till 2027. So Chris is saying, our fear is their power. Without us, they are nothing. They have the power. Yeah, and that's how I feel. Like, you can have a bazillion, trillion, quadrillion dollars, but if you don't have anybody to spend it on or spend it with, I mean, you need the middle class. You just do. And if you're low, like if you're in the lower class, if you're poor, they love that. They want to control you. You have to fight your way out of that. If you're on this feed and you're getting government housing and all that stuff, they love that. Because I know that you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you get a job, you pay less and you have to pay for everything yourself. But if you don't get a job, you get free housing and free healthcare and food stamps. Something's wrong there. Something's wrong there. But I tell you what, you'll never dig out of the hole that you feel like you're in if you don't just go for it. But do other things. Start a YouTube channel. Let it rip. I don't know. There's so many other things you can do to try to get out of that hole. So Chris is saying they pray to the dollar, removing their wealth means more to them losing family. Yo, Manny, what's happening, dude? Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's evil. These people are just evil. And I always bring notes to come on. So I've already kind of covered the fact that I will be at the movies on Friday. If you guys, I'm pretty interested to see, like, I was going to say, like, hey, like, what do you want Adam Aaron? What do you want me to ask Adam Aaron? Listen, if I can actually ask him anything, I can handle this. But what I ask him on the lowest end, I would say when. I say, I'm going to ask you one word question, when. And now you have to just give me a one word answer. And what I want him to say is soon. Because other than that, he's not going to say squat. He's just not. He hasn't said anything to anybody. So to think that I'm going to roll in there and I am a bulldozer and I will get in his face and ask him questions, he's just not going to answer anything. I just don't think. But we'll see. We'll see. But I will tell you this, guys. I am streaming. So just be ready. So make sure you sub or whatever. But I'm going to stream on Friday. And I would assume that it's probably around 6:30 p.m. Eastern time Friday night. Now, obviously, I'll stream it and it'll post. There's a little part of me that wants my stream to get like taken down and stuff because that's kind of fun because that gives us better answers to things. And When they start messing with stuff, that's even more telling in my mind. Man, you didn't know that? Man, if you don't work and somehow you classify yourself as like, I don't know, having like a bad back, you find the right doctor. Yeah, you don't have to, you get everything for free. You're not living in a neighborhood you want to live in, though. You'd be dodging bullets. That's how it works in Philadelphia. City of Philadelphia, man. You're dodging bullets. If you're in government housing, yeah, you're dodging bullets on a nightly basis. And Chris is saying all wars are perpetrated by Wall Street bankers, 911. Yeah, I'm with you. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of funny. I mean, I know nothing. I feel like we know nothing. I mean, let's be honest. Do we really know who Vladimir Putin is? Do we really know any of these people? Do we just know what they tell us? Oh, so Joe's saying he watches me all the time. Oh, I appreciate it, Joe. Thanks. How high do you see this going? More or less, nothing exact. You mean how? Oh, how high the price? See, that's the one thing. I mean, you could. This is how you could play it, and this is what I think about, because I have a large stake. So let's just leave it at that. And I've been in this play for, like everybody else, 2 years. So you can look at it this way, and I'm sure you guys have written this down. I think when you get into the $1,500, $2,000 range, stuff's going to get scary. I think, and what I mean by scary is just like halts and you're like, oh, why your price tag is so low? It's not low. I don't have a low price target. I'm a $500,000 guy. Like, it can get there, but we see what happens. They naturally won't let anything happen. And they can hold a stock and they can hold it for 30 days. So if they see a big number, I mean, it might go to $300 and they halt it for 30 days and see how many people sell. I mean, halting for 30 days is like turning off the buy button. And think about this. Whatever your position is, and let's say it rips to 500. And then it halts for 30 days. You're going to stare at that $500 for 30 days in your account, $500 a share. So if you've got 1,000 shares, what is that? I can't do math right now. Too busy yapping. So let's say you have 1,000 shares times 500. That's 500,000. Yeah. $500,000. And you're like, oh my God. I mean, you have 30 days to think about that $500,000. You're like, all right, well, I could pay off my house and I could get my wife and I a new car. That would really help. Oh, don't forget to pay your taxes, because you're going to lose about 38% of that money. So just do a rough 40%, because you'd be surprised. I've had an instance where I had to pay a shit ton of taxes. And when you hit a certain mark, they're like, oh, once you hit this mark, you got to pay a Obama health insurance tax. You're like, well, how much is that? They're like, oh, it's $34,000. You're like, Jesus. Like, so, you hear about all this like 38% shit. Like, they're going to come get you. There's taxes behind those doors that you don't realize. So I don't know, Joe, if that answers your question. I mean, where do you see it going? I mean, but if all is true, but here's the thing. So that's that scenario where they have some sort of control, as some people would say, it's like a managed event, where they have some sort of control. But the longer this goes on, they lose more and more control. So let's say they lose control, things start falling, boom, 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 and we start hearing, oh, Citadel folded, Bank of America folded, Credit Suisse is done, China invaded Taiwan. Now you're like, Now he's sitting back, and I'm like, all right, oh, 2,000 a share, okay, well, 2,500 a share, all right, yeah, you're just watching that thing rip. So that's kind of how I view it. I hope that we see that kind of stuff, that just the landscape will tell us what our price target is, as opposed to them controlling it and halting it the whole time. That's kind of how I view it. But we can see that they're in trouble if this thing gets to $50. They're in trouble. Oh, you just said, dude, how about that? Isn't that funny? Oh, you say even around 50. Yeah. Yeah, because they're in trouble. They're in trouble. They're in trouble if AMC gets to 50. I don't even know what they can do to Ape. Because let's be honest, Adam Aaron, he's not our friend. He's just not. He has his own objectives, and he answers. He's a CEO, and he's a very wealthy man. I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he's a very wealthy man. He doesn't. His mind. He thinks he's great. So when he goes to these movie events, he's like, look at me, look at me, look at me. I mean, that's the reason he's there. Look at me. He loves the attention. Look at me. So he's going to try to do the best thing he can for AMC, because he wants everybody to look at me. And that's how I view it. And because CEOs have big egos, and he's been around the block. He was the CEO of my 76ers for a long time. And I do believe he still has a minority ownership in the 76ers. And these basketball teams are now worth they used to be worth $300 million 10 years ago. Now they're worth $3 billion. So those are good investments. So I agree with you. I could see AMC going 500 is not, that's like, to me, that's like a minimum. Can it go to all-time high? Hey, welcome. What country are you in? Because I can't read that, right? Unless that's like a logo, but I don't want to offend you in any way. Are you in Asia, or? I'm answering your question. Can AMC go to all-time high? I love, if you're in a foreign country, I love to hear that. I think that is so freaking cool. So that we can sit here. South Korea and hold it for 2 years. All right. The ants, right? How are the ants doing in South Korea? If you guys don't remember, when this whole push was happening with the buying of GME and AMC, they said that there was a group in South Korea that called themselves the ants, not the apes. So I'm reading Chris's thing. Chris says, story for me. I'm 42, around 1990, had my first realization of the ugly world of the 1%. My father was very angry. We got a phone bill for hundreds, rang a lot of competition lines. I'm sorry, Chris, I don't understand what that means. You got like an extreme phone bill, like a high phone bill? And Joe's saying, I think that Adam is a Wall Street guy. Like, I heard all his videos. So he's going to try to do something where the other side is not completely destroyed at the same time it goes up to green. That's exactly what I've been saying. Like, Joe, well, you watch my videos, and I'm not trying to sway you at all, because I want to hear other perspectives, and I certainly don't want to hear myself. It's hard for me to do these things. I got to hear myself talk all day. I talk too much. I don't want to hear myself talk. I don't give a shit what I'm saying. I'm with you. Like, so Joe said he thinks Adam is a Wall Street guy, and he heard all the videos. He's trying to do something where the other side is not completely destroyed at the same time, and it goes up to green. Yes, I don't think, and I think Ryan Cohen's kind of the same thing. If we have some GME holders in here, I think Ryan Cohen is doing the same thing. He doesn't want to see the whole world collapse because he knows that that's what they have the control of. And Ryan, I believe I agree with you. All right, now we're moving. Ryan, I believe with you, the 5 billion ape share, that's pretty close to what any information AMC has about how many synthetics are out there. Yeah. I think Adam Aaron has every intention of selling every single one of those apes eventually. But I do believe, like Joe and I kind of are on the same page with this. I do believe he wants us to make money. And Adam Aaron wants us all to make money, but he's going to make money in the process also. He is not going to make us billionaires and then AMC raises $500 million. Opposite. Opposite. Think about it. He has 5 billion apes to share. In some cockamamie way, he figured it legally how to pull this off. So if he has 5 billion apes to share, he's making billions if we're going to make millions. That's the best way that's how I view it. It makes the most sense. He doesn't want to destroy Wall Street. He has a lot of friends in Wall Street, and there is a trickle-down effect. So he might think that Mr. Miami is the biggest douchebag in the world, but there's a trickle-down where Mr. Miami owns stakes in other companies that Adam Aaron is really good friends with. And these are people that helped him along the way. So my friend from South Korea, which is so cool, man. We didn't leave, just bought more, just wonder that apes leave. Man, we're not leaving. Nobody's leaving. Because who the hell is going to sell at these prices? Like, who's doing that? I don't care what you own. You don't have to own the meme stocks. And that's why I say to everybody, zoom out a little bit. Look at the stuff that you wanted to own. And look at most of it. Don't look at, everybody wants to buy Apple. Well, guess what? The Microsofts, the Apples, those big stocks, they're going to drop when all hell, when shit hits the fan, when everything goes down. That's a great indicator for us. Watch. And I made a video on this back, and I honestly, my videos are probably good to go back and watch just because they are, all right, Johnny, I kind of went through this already, John, but Johnny wants a price prediction. It's funny. There's no right answer to that, right? If I said 500,000, you'd say I was nuts. And if I said 500, you'd say I was a shill. So this is my suggestion on price. We don't really know. And I know you're like, oh, come on, dude. I do believe that if it gets into the $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 range, I think things are going to get scary. I think a lot of people might jump. But my whole suggestion for everybody is just sell small and don't sell at all. Man, that was good. That was I didn't even write that down. That was really good. I can't even remember what I said, but it sounded good. Sell small, but don't sell at all. Yeah, so Johnny, so that's my price prediction is like be on high alert once we get over, say, $1,500. Oh, I appreciate the compliment. Top channel, nice. Yeah, do I get newcomer of the year? I get newcomer of the year, and then then they'll give you, and then after that they'd be like, he hasn't left yet award. He didn't get paid off yet. Like Trey, because you guys can't tell me. Listen, I like Trey or did, but that's so fishy to me, and we'll never find out what happened. But it's easy to pay a guy off that when he first started his channel, and if you guys were on him when I was on him, I think I was probably like in this number. I think I was like number 800 of one of his subscribers. And he told the stories about how he had all these medical bills he had to pay and how he lived out of his car for a year and he worked at Buffalo Wild Wings. And then, God, 2 years later, he's like telling me stories about how he was driving a Tesla. I was like, you son of a gun. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm glad you got a Tesla. And I knew how much money you're making. So, yeah, you have a Tesla. Don't tell people that. You just gave everybody the middle finger. That's how I feel about that. Don't do that to people. People are out there struggling and you're sitting there telling you about your freaking Tesla. I mean, kiss my ass. Like, come on. Don't do that stuff. It's not cool. It's like me telling you, I got this big house, I got this big this, I got this big. No, I don't have any of that stuff, but it's like, why would I say all that stuff to you? Oh, just put a water slide into my in my bedroom. It's just rude. Yeah, Chris, so you're with me. Yeah, Mr. Simon, my man. Mr. Simon, one of the OGs of Stock Mafia. One of the made men of Stock Mafia. Yeah, I do. Like I said, I just think I'd love to know what happened to Trey. We'll never find out. We'll never find out. We will never find out what happened to Trey, but I think most of them. I mean, look, I'm going to keep saying this because I think this guy is bad. I think he's like a cancer. I unsubbed to Lou. Like, I just did it because I don't want to hear about any of his stuff anymore. I just think he's a con artist. And listen, he's got arrested for being a con artist. So you can't sit there and say, why would you call him a con artist? Because he's been arrested as a con artist. And he got beat up in some Puerto Rican jail. Does that happen to any of you before? He got his ass handed to him, which he has like head injuries from. Well, sometimes you get yourself in that type of situation. Those situations don't find you. Good to see you too. Yes, good to see you, man. Good to see you. It's good to see everybody. I appreciate everybody that's like supporting me and getting the videos out there. I said this to you before. I don't know. I mean, if this thing's squeezed tomorrow, I don't know if I'll be here. I think I will because I have so much more. I have so much more to give. I have so much more to give. I want to give to the people. No, but I think it's important that even after this squeezes, we start figuring out like how can and this is information that I have, and if the channel is big enough, I mean, man, we could get some guys on here that like teach us how to like not pay taxes. And I'm not trying to not pay taxes, but first things first, like if you make $3 million or $1 million or 500,000, last thing you want to do is give 40% of that to the government. So there are assets that you can buy, real estate, that you can kind of defer a lot of those taxes, and those are things that we would talk about when the time comes. But we're not there yet, and I'm not putting the horse before the cart. So when we get there, I will be there, and we'll run this party until the party is done. Man, Joe, you and I are like, we're probably the same age. So I don't think I've ever told you guys this. So I'm 48 years old. I know I don't look it. I look good for my age. No, I don't. I have no hair. So Joe's saying, I follow Lou, love this personality. Whoa, what the heck? However, nobody understands the sudden change after 2 years. Everything AMC running a few days unless somebody paid him. That's my opinion. Yeah. So I'm tired of hearing AMC is going to have its run. He's been saying that for a long time. I will tell you that I do believe he's been on the take from the beginning because he established a position. He had information that nobody else had. You might hate him. He's offensive, and that's why you never watched him. But if you watched him, probably the way Joe and I have, he had information that no one else had. But he would always pump you up for these runs, and they never would happen. And then he pieced out on AMC. I don't know, probably feels like at least a month ago. And he's doing the GTII stuff. And then that's when I get into like rule number 1. Do not buy anything that you don't want to own forever. because you could get trapped with it. You don't know anything about no GTII. You don't know anything about them. I tell you what you do know is they're not on the New York Stock Exchange, so they didn't have to meet all those requirements to get on there. They do have requirements. I know the market is corrupt, but to get on the stock exchange, you got to meet certain things. You got to be a real company. You got to make real money. So Mr. Simon's saying stop watching all YouTubers. STV, TMI, Matt Kors. Yeah, Roche. I never watch Matt. Like I said, his voice. Can't do it. That's such a horrible thing to judge somebody off of. It's like, oh, this guy gives great information. Oh yeah, sorry, I can't watch Matt Kors. I can't stand his voice. Roche Capital. Well, once Roche Capital, that's me. That's the new Meet Kevin. That's Meet Kevin. I saw his game. It's so funny. I mean, part of me likes figuring people out. It's kind of fun. You feel like you're Sherlock Holmes, and people could be doing the same thing to me. But Roche Capital made a video before he said he was selling all his ape. He made a video probably like 2 weeks before, and he doesn't put out a lot of videos. So he does like one a week, or at least he did. I notice he's putting out more content now because he's the new Meet Kevin, and we'll get into that. He started talking about, he goes, I don't know why everybody gives this guy Kevin. He's the best. And he just started like, I mean, it was all Kevin video. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, you don't, I guess you know him. I don't know. Maybe they contacted you, told you were doing a great job, blah, 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 blah. Then Kevin sells his ape. And then literally a day later, Roche Capital makes an announcement, which is financial advice, which he shouldn't be doing. He's selling his ape. And then all of a sudden, Mr. Roche Capital is starting to put out more videos, more content, doing shorts. And hey, I get it, but it's just suspect. Your timing. Only watch a few channels. I don't know who that is. Who the heck is Massalorian? Is that the name of the channel, Massalorian? And I'm going to get to all your questions, guys. I'm moving down the line here. And Bigums, of course. Yeah, if you don't watch AMC Bigums, you better recognize he is good. He is good. He doesn't like us. No, he doesn't like me. He thinks he doesn't like I shouldn't say he doesn't like me. He's never specifically said he didn't like me. He feels like YouTubers are full of shit and stuff. And I'm like, well, dude, like I always go back to this. Like, you're on YouTube. Like, stop saying that. Like, you're like saying like, oh, I'm better than everybody. But his information is, I just give him a pass. I could care less. Like, whatever. It's all good. I know to my core what I'm trying to do. And that's to get a message across. And to be honest with you, if Bigums and I had our own channel, it would be great because I could kind of dumb down some of the stuff that he starts talking about. Because I feel like as a high school teacher, that's kind of stuff that I had to do. Like, yeah, I'm an intelligent guy, like, but I'm older. I have all this information, and you're just spewing off all this ISDA phase 6. And I'm like, whoa. You got to remember, like, some people are just getting into this play. Like, you got to dumb it down a little bit. And if you guys ever watch Bigums and come on the stream and say, what the hell is he talking about? I will pretty much tell you what he's saying in very basic layman's terms. Bottom line is, with Bigums right now, is that whole ISDA thing, the phase 6, it's all coming about. Everybody's getting their books turned over and everybody's trying to meet their margins. And that's why they're selling their assets. They're just trying to survive another day. And they think they're going to survive it all. And they're probably trying to survive another day while, Mr. Simon's Short Squeeze channel. Okay. I'll write that down. I've seen that in my like feed, but I don't think he puts his face on the screen, but I'll trust you, my friend. That's what we are here. We are friends. Red Pill Bill. That's another YouTube guy. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh AJ, I'm with you, man. Like Lou's full of shit. He just is. And you know it's funny. I almost want him to like. I would love to get popular enough where Lou makes some sort of threat toward me and tells me how he's going to beat me up and all that stuff. That would be the funniest thing I've ever seen. See, I live outside, like I live outside of New York. Like New York City used to be part of my sales territory. So I get the whole like people from Manhattan, if you're on here and you probably agree with me, a lot of these Manhattan guys, they just think they're tough. And he's actually not from Manhattan. He's in Harlem. So they ever just think they're tough. People from New York think they're tough, and you can think you're tough. Like if you're in the city, like you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I got it. But that whole bravado that Lou puts off, like that he's from New York and he could beat up everybody. He ain't beating up nobody, dude. Like, no offense, but like you're two donuts from a heart attack. So I don't like the way he treats people. I never did. So that's just my thing. I'll just put it at that. I'm not trying to. I like New Yorkers. I like New York. People don't understand that. Like, it's probably like Pennsylvania. New York State is mostly farmland. And there's like this much is like Manhattan. New York is not Manhattan. Manhattan is its own entity. It's its own country. Manhattan is definitely its own country. Yeah, Matt Kors, he's a sellout. He sold out a long time ago. He's like a cartoon. He's like a cartoon channel for stock market. Him and all his toys in the background. Still on the fence. TMI. I don't even know who that is. STV. Oh, these are new guys? Oh, they're like me? New plants. I'm gonna check them out then. TMI and STV. Do they put their face on the camera? I'm telling you, this is my thing. If anybody's new, and it's so funny that I meet this requirement, go figure. If you're new, you better put your face on the camera and you better stream. You better stream because people get to know you. Because like if you're just rolling in now, you know, I don't trust you. I don't trust you. And listen, the hedge funds have a great opportunity right now to put new people out there because they got rid of guys like Trey, and you know Matt was they probably gave him like a gift card to Ruby Tuesdays for him to sell out. But for guys like Trey, they made him an offer he couldn't refuse. The Mafia. See that play on words? That's why we are the stock mafia, because let's be honest, guys, that Wall Street is the real mafia. So it's a great time for hedge funds to put new YouTubers out there. And you can say that was me, but you figure it out real quick. It ain't me. You'll figure that out. I'll let other people make their decisions on me. And I love like the hate stuff that comes. I don't get a lot of hate. Maybe I'm not popular enough. But that stuff makes me laugh. So Joe, GTII, I remember the first person that talked about it was CSI. It's the beginning of August. 4 weeks later, Lou started pumping. However, yeah. So the CSI guy, I know that he did. That's what I found out. And I watched one of his videos. He did kind of break it down. But isn't it funny that when Lou started talking about it, it started having its run? You know. These guys, listen, Wall Street can control anything. We all know this. They can everything, they can make the whole market green, they can make the whole market red. If there's a lot of buy action, they can not send it to the market with dark pools and hold the orders. If there's a lot of sell action, they can hold that and not send it to the market and make the whole market green, where only thing they're sending to the market is buying. The market right now is so corrupt and such crap. Their fear is short run and long run. Because you think about it, short run is like us. the meme folks. We're not capitulating. We're not selling our shares so that the market could go down. But in the long run, they're like, oh crap. Like even if we give these guys their money and we do what's right here and we fix, and they're going to have to, when we fix all this, are they going to come back? No, we're not coming back until you get rid of payment for order flow. You get rid of shorting because no other country has it. And you get rid of dark pools. You don't need dark pools. You need dark. You'd be like, oh, well, what if Warren Buffett wants to buy $50 million worth of stock? Okay. And he doesn't want to affect the price. So what? Buy a little at a time. Do what we have to do. If we want a position in a company, we buy a little at a time. That's a smart thing to do. You got $10,000 and you want to be a long-term holder of, I don't even know. Let's just say Apple. You don't just go buy $10,000 worth. You buy $1,000 worth at a time so that you can average in. That is the way you trade. You average in. And then you'd be like, oh, well, I see in the chart. You don't know what the chart's going to bring. Just remember, you could be reading a chart for 3 weeks and see that, oh, Ape's been staying at $2. I don't want to use Ape because Ape's not really like a stock. It's a dividend meant to pay off debt for AMC and to make the shorts cover. But let's say, oh, I've been following AMC and it's been at $6 and $5.50 and $6.32 right now. Average in, because over the weekend, you don't know if like China's going to drop a bomb on Taiwan and the whole market's going to go, poof, and maybe it goes to $3, but it sits there for like just a day. Well, you average in. Now you still have another $5,000 and you're like, all right, well, that's pretty low. And I was buying at 6, now it's at 3. If I buy $5,000 worth now, my average stock price will be $4. See what I'm saying? Weekends are scary. When I try to teach my friends like how to do this, holding over the weekend can be scary because stuff happens and like weird crap rumors get swirling. All right. Hold on here. Here we go. All right. Thanks, Simon. Yeah, he is 2 donuts from a heart attack. I was talking about Lou. TMI is a good actor or legit from what I've seen. He did come from nothing, mom's basement. Aren't we all mom's basement guys? To our core. I want to live in my mom's basement. I want to be like, what's that movie? I think it's Wedding Singer where Will Ferrell's sitting in his basement in his robe and he's screaming, Mom, meatloaf, meatloaf. I want to live in my mom's basement. I want my mom. I think mom's basement is really underrated. Really underrated. There's nothing. I mean, God. Yeah. I mean, I can even picture it. Put up a couple posters, some hot chicks, my favorite bands, sleep on a sofa bed. I mean, I tell you what, man, that sounds like paradise to me because I got no mortgage. I got nobody asking me for my money. I can throw mom like $100 a month, help her out with groceries. I tell you what, mom's basement is very underrated. That's the goal. We want squeeze, and then we all just go live in mom's basement and live off the interest. Woo! And travel. Yeah, Chris is right. It's warm down there, and the rent is free. I mean, I think we're all understanding. Like, mom's basement. It sounded pretty good. When Gasparino was always making fun of it, it's like you wish you lived in mom's basement, you little prick. Price range for Ape. So Ryan's asking me. Ryan, didn't I ask you that question already? No, maybe not. That's really up to Adam Aaron. I'm just hoping that, Adam Aaron's got a got a quick trigger finger when it comes to selling his stock. Remember when AMC was on his run up, he sold all his shares at $40. So he sold a lot of his shares. And so don't boo-hoo-hoo for Adam Aaron, because he's got a quick little trigger finger when it comes to selling off his position. That's why we all voted against dilution, because we don't trust him that he's not going to just sell at the first leap. Now, to be honest with you, I don't even know if Ape's legal, and we will find out. And Adam Aaron better make everybody whole, because if he does some shady business with Ape and we all get some money together, we're going to sue him. So he better do what's right for the people. And I would say it to his face. Maybe I'll say it to him on Friday. That's the good news about not being like popular. I'm going to be able to sneak in there and maybe get next to him and ask him a real freaking question. If I was like Trey, it would be like a spotlight over my head. Yes, I am going to the movies on Friday. I'm going to go to the movie premiere that Adam Aaron is hosting on Friday. He is in my town, or not in my town, but close enough that I can drive 40, 50 minutes to get there. And I bought a ticket. So my question with Ape, I'm just hoping that with those 400 million shares and the way he sells things so quick, I hope he holds till it's like at least $20, $30. Because if you've been on this chat for the 2 hours or hour and a half we're on now, and Joe and I have kind of agreed on this, is he does not want to be blamed for the financial ruin that could come if he played hardball. If he played hardball with these shorts, he should sell all his Ape at $300 a pop. Right? And then he should turn around and just buy Apple and just do some wild and crazy stuff. I tell you what, they're lucky I'm not CEO, because if I'm sitting on money already, Adam Aaron doesn't need this. This is more about legacy and popularity. He could do some real damage. He could have more money than Jeff Bezos if he really played this right. I just don't think he plans on doing that. Because if he did, he'd be being more aggressive for us. He's not aggressive. And I would say that I'm like, I got to be honest with you, the jury's still out. If I could say one thing to him, jury's still out on if you're a good CEO and actually a good person. Because you haven't done enough. You have not done enough. Joe, there's nothing wrong with trading up, brother. Let's just leave it at that. Joe's talking about making amends with the women of his past. But then once he gets money, he's going to make them all sorry. So they'll be lining up at his door. Yeah, women are something. No offense, women, and if there's any on here, but most women they like that dollar. You get prettier the more money you have. I have two girls, and I try to preach that that's not the way we live our lives, girls. It's just not, because you won't be happy. Yeah, Mr. Simon, I am excited. I don't know what kind of access we'll have with him. I tell you what, if we get there and we get this whole like this, he can't answer this question, you can't ask him this, you can't, and then I'm just like, whatever. Like, I'll stream his stuff, but am I going to wait in line to get a picture with somebody who won't talk to me? No, I'm just not. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to stream for all of us. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do, just so you get the notification, because I'm going to stream on YouTube. But if something happens, I'll stream on Twitter. I can't do both. Maybe I can't. I don't know. I probably have to buy some service. And I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not buying. Right now, I'm not buying anything. So I'm going to just stream on YouTube for now. Okay, ask AA about testing viewing of popular TV shows. I personally would love to go watch my favorite series with a group of people sometimes. Yeah. No, that's cool. No, that is, I mean, tweet him. AJ, tweet him. He reads tweets. He that's the one cool thing is like he's not about the squeeze. We all kind of get that. Like he's not about the squeeze. He's about AMC. But what he doesn't understand is, and I've said this 100 times, man, if he does everything right, man, he is going to be the most powerful man in Hollywood. Don't you want to be that? Like, if I could have lunch with the guy, don't you want to be the most powerful man in Hollywood? Real quick, I'm going to go over this again. You sell 8 for $50 a pop. You raise $20 billion. You squeeze the shorts out of your company. You buy all your Regal Cinema World locations that are prime. Now you're a monopoly of the movie industry. If somebody wants to release a movie, they got to put it in an AMC movie theater. Oh, well, you know, when Avatar hits, they only pay us a nickel for every ticket sold. Oh, sorry, Avatar. You're now going to have to pay us $1 for every ticket sold. Like you can raise your royalties. You see where I'm going here? Like, dude could be like the most powerful man in Hollywood if he plays it right. Get it going. Like, stop being such a pussy and get this thing rolling. That's how I feel about it. AJ, dude, you're gonna be there for a month watching Game of Thrones. Oh, Chris, dude, that's awesome. See, that's the funny thing is if you're in a relationship and your girl or guy or whatever is like also owns AMC and GME or both or neither or not neither, one or the other. Yeah, that's interesting. You guys are just both like sitting on a volcano. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Well, that's why I'm like that's actually probably if I can get in front of him, that's probably a good question. I'm like, Adam, don't you want to be the most powerful man in Hollywood? Because he has money. Like he can pretty much buy whatever he wants. You have $20 or $30 million, you pretty much buy whatever you want. And I know he has that. I don't even know. Let's look up his net worth. I'm sure it's. Sorry, I like 6 monitors going here. Adam Aaron. Oh, I don't want to do it on that one. So he's worth over $50 million. I think that's low. I really do. See, here's the thing that people need to understand. He's a Harvard man, and Harvard men stick together. Yeah, he's a Harvard guy, so that's like being in like an elite club. You go to the Harvard dinner. Oh yeah, AJ. Dude, like that's why everybody kind of pushed that whole like AJ saying buy Netflix if he wanted to be a major shareholder or integrate. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like that's the whole Disney angle. People are like, oh, he could buy Disney, or Disney could buy AMC, and yeah, I think that's really good. And there was something that was like some law, some monopoly law, some business law that expired like literally like 6 months ago that theaters couldn't merge with production, all this stuff, and it like got like thrown out. So Disney could technically buy AMC now, where they couldn't do this a year ago. Sony Pictures could buy AMC, which they couldn't do that a year ago. So that is an option. Yeah. Well, Chris, you're right though. It's like, what's your ultimate goal in life? Chris is saying I should ask Adam Aaron what his ultimate goal in life is. And that's the honest to God truth. Like I would say to him, to a man, and I'm not, and that's the one thing, guys, if you know me or knew me on a personal level, you would know that I'm not afraid to ask anybody anything. Sometimes that gets me in trouble. Sometimes you don't want to hang out with me because of it. But I am not afraid to ask anybody anything. Um, yeah, I mean, what is your ultimate goal here, Adam? Because I would tell him, I'm like, you realize you could come out of this looking like being a national hero, and I hope you just do the right thing. That's probably something I could probably say to him and get away with without like because if you think for 1 second, I would go to and I'm curious, but like he's got to have bodyguards there. If he doesn't have a bodyguard there, then he's a nut. Yeah, yeah, Chris, and that's cool because I talked to my buddy about this, and he's probably listening right now. What's up, Seth? Um, we're both in sales, and we've known each other a long time and been in the sales game. And when you're a salesman, you don't really measure people about what they say, but how they say it. And that's what I want to get into. Like, I would like to talk to him a little bit, and that's probably why I will stand in line and get my selfie with him, because I want to see his body language. I want to see how he answers questions. Well, if I ask him a tough question, he gives me the right answer, but his eyeballs are in the ground. Well, that's a telltale sign that he's lying. And I will come right on my stream and tell people, oh, that mother bleeper just lied to me. I'm not really setting up for the fact when I ask him to come on my channel, am I? Whatever. Hey man, you don't want to be asked tough questions. Don't bother hanging out with me because it's just silly. But yeah, paying attention to his body language, that's kind of how I want to view it. I'm gonna watch him like a hawk. I'm gonna watch him. And to be honest with you, I'm not really interested in the movie. I don't even know what the hell it's called. Something Sunrise. I don't even want to watch it. I'm so obsessed with this stock stuff. I'm so antsy. I can't sit still for a long period of time. Now, yeah, I can do a stream. Well, guess why? Because I'm talking about something that I'm so freaking obsessed with and passionate about. That's like taking over my goddamn life. And I know you guys can relate to that. Yeah, if Adam Aaron does do the right thing, like I said, he's a national hero. So Chris, you brought up something, and I don't know if anybody else owns GME on this feed, and you can put in there, yeah, dude, I own GME. I think that, and if you think that we're separated, we're not. We're not separated at all. They're both heavily shorted stocks, and most of the reason that a lot of us got into AMC is because we didn't want to pay $300 a share for GME. And that's what it was going for. And yes, it went down to 40 and went to 200, 250. Then he split it then Ryan Cohen split it 4 ways. And the DTCC committed securities fraud, which no one's actually talking about, which is so weird to me. But Ryan Cohen tweeted a picture of him and Carl Icahn. And the only thing I will say about that is that's very interesting because Carl Icahn is not a friend of anybody except Carl Icahn and whoever's on his side. He has shorted shorts. He went after Bill Ackman, who shorted Herbalife, and then Carl Icahn got involved in that and bought a large percentage of Herbalife, and then he DRS'd his shares, which caused Ackman to have to close his position. Now, I don't know how you feel about Bill Ackman. I think he's I guess I shouldn't say that. It's like slander, but let's just put it this way. Bill Ackman went on CNBC, the cartoon business channel, and told everybody during COVID that like he just tried to scare everybody. And he was scaring everybody. He said hotels are going to go down, scare. And then he proceeded to everything that he mentioned, like the businesses are going to suffer. He shorted all of them and made a killing. So there are places for these people, and it goes beyond Earth. There are places. We don't live forever, but we spend an eternity somewhere. I don't know where, but somewhere. And if you do plan on going somewhere for eternity, you should probably be a good person on Earth. That's how I view it. That's why I always tell you guys, just be a good person. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be religious. You don't have to believe in heaven. You don't have to believe in hell. You don't have to believe in anything. But just be a good person, and then and good things will come your way. So AJ's saying if Adam Aaron sells Ape high and apes get paid, he can buy any company he wants. Yep, I said that, right? Apes will have the $2 go buy up the float. Oh, apes will have the money. Man, look at your little tricky language here. It's like I'm my daughter's texting me. Have the money to go buy up the float on those as well. Yes, we would follow him into any company and buy shares out of love. Yeah, well, and also AJ, don't forget that if he does what he needs to do, and then he goes out and buys Regal and Cineworld, which he clearly has kind of tipped his hand on that and said that that's what he wants to do with the money that he raises, he's going to be a monopoly in the movie business. And I'm telling you what, let's just say we all say AMC runs to 100,000. We all sell at 100,000. And then it runs back down to $15 2 months later. I'm buying that stock because fundamentally now, think about this. It has no more shorts in it. So they've all moved on. And now he is a power company in Hollywood. What's to stop that $15 stock post squeeze from then going to 150? And you're like, well, he's diluted it. It doesn't matter. He can do a reverse split and undilute it. These guys can do so much. When you got money and your company's making money, you can do some wild stuff. And if he's going to give dividends, that company used to give dividends. They gave a special dividend in 2016. Adam Aaron was a CEO. They're not opposed to giving dividends. They just got to get out of debt. Adam Aaron knows how to run AMC. So we're going to let him run AMC. Because we know that that's what he's definitely going to do. That's a lock. And if you're on this feed, just make sure you subscribe. I am going to stream on Friday at the movie theater, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's probably about the time I'll go on there. Just the minute he talks, I'm going to hit the button and start streaming what he's talking about. And if anybody's there, I don't know, anybody going to the movies on Friday, sit next to me, say hi. It's all good. I don't care if you got 1 or 1 million shares, same respect, but as a YouTuber, transparency firms. Oh, Chris, you want me to tell you my position? I'm not doing that. Because to be honest with you, then I set myself up. Let me tell you why. Because what if I set myself up for other things? Like this thing runs and somehow when I'm streaming and stuff, I say, yeah, well, I sold small position at, I've gotten rid of some of my bananas at 500, some at 1,000, some 1,500. And you go back and you're like, oh, well, he said he had, he said he had, and I don't have this much. So he said he had 200,000 shares. So that guy now has 35 million or something like that. I just can't, I'm in it. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I mean, I have a significant position. I day trade for a living and I'm locked into this stock. So whatever you want to put on that. And if you want me to say I have more than 1,000 shares, I'll at least say that I have more than 1,000 shares. Well, Joe, they can't cover unless somebody sells. And that every day that goes by, it's harder for this. So Joe's asking me, do you think $6 is a great price for them to cover? How they can't cover unless someone sells. That's why I love when like Lou says they covered it too. They can't cover. And that's the one thing, like until someone sells, and that's why they're trying to get people to sell. That's why they keep driving the price down lower and lower and lower. Yeah, Mr. Simon, it'd be cool. Yeah, hopefully that all works out and to get like, because I don't have like a microphone for my phone or anything. But hopefully it's a newer iPhone. I think it's like the 13 Pro and now like the 14's out, so I don't have the latest and greatest. But hopefully when I stream, it'll pick up his voice and all that stuff. I mean, we can all just turn the volume up to like 90. Yeah, and AJ's right. Like you never show your position. Like there is some legal stuff to it, but I even going past the legal stuff, I would just like it's just for your own protection. Like you don't tell people how much you have. I mean, you can do it, but think of the forum that I'm at. Like I'm putting myself out there. I got my face out here. Like you guys, no offense, but like you're just in a chat. Like they're gonna find, and we all, everybody's called like something. Some of us have our names as, but some of us have, code names and stuff. So, but yeah, Chris, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I gave you a certain number. I think anybody that has, I think anybody that has 1,000 or more is in a good spot. Maybe I think you guys would agree with me. If you have over 1,000 shares, you're in a good spot. And if you have 1,000 AMC and 1,000 APE, you're in a good spot. Because there's always the play that APE runs to the 30-50, and then you're like, and then you find out that Adam Aaron's sold. Well, guess what, guys? APE will go down. Doesn't mean that it couldn't go past 50, but there's a real high probability that if you find out that Adam Aaron sold his APE shares, that APE will then go down and you'll have a chance to maybe buy it back again, maybe at 20. And then I understand there's no option chain. It could then rip to 1,000, 2,000, whatever number. But there's a real high probability that when the announcement's made that he sold APE, that the price is going to go down. So there is a chance for you in the trading biz to make some money. So I am looking out for you. I don't have to say that stuff. But I am, Chris wants me to be honest, and I appreciate that. And I get it. Like dude, Chris, I ain't mad at you, brother. Cause if you were on the other side, I'd be doing the same thing to you in the chat. So I'm pretty attuned to like what somebody else would do on the other side. So, so Joe says, so how are they going to bring the price up if nobody's selling? Take the cap off dark pool. Because that's how they control the price right now. It's real easy. I mean, let's say there's 1,000 buy orders that go in today. And you've seen it. People have posted like, oh, some guy wrote, I just bought 10,000 shares and the price didn't even move. And then 20 minutes later, they sold 4 blocks of $100 shares and the price went down. It's because they're letting the sell orders hit the open market and they're letting the buy orders just sit there. Because honestly, what we're finding out, look at Citadel. What is it? 62, 63 billion shares not bought. So that's cash that he has cash that he hasn't bought the shares in the open market. To be honest with you, when we buy right now, there's a high likelihood that we're just handing cash. That's why when you hear people say maybe we should stop buying, there's a high likelihood that when we're buying in the market right now, we're just handing them cash because they're not buying the shares, because they're not letting it go to the exchange, because if they let it go to the exchange, the price will go up. So Joe, I'm with you. So Joe's saying, so if we don't sell because it's so low and they can't cover because we're in a never-ending cycle, it's never going to end. Okay, yes, but eventually they run out of money, and you can see what they've been doing, and that's where we get into the AMC Bigum stuff. Where, let me tell you something, I've watched him from the beginning when he started posting. I followed him when he was just doing the Twitter stuff. He's very excited right now, and I'm on board with him. Bad things are coming, and they're very close. They're not a year away. They're not a year away. Yes. So Blue Line. So Joe, check out what Blue Line's saying in the chat. Have patience. Let is the banks fall. Let a plan play out. So now I believe that we should be putting pressure on the CEO. I believe we should be tweeting. I believe we should still be sharing videos. I still believe we should be doing all that stuff. You don't have to like my video, but you can like Angelo's videos. It doesn't matter, man. Keep us in the feed. Keep everybody up front. Keep the action going. This whole I get it. I'm like stuttering here. But when Trey left, you don't think that they love that? You don't think hedge funds knew that was going to hurt people? They knew that was going to hurt people. A lot of people depended on Trey. I'll be honest with you, when I was kind of feeling low about the stock, probably about 3, 4, 5 months ago, I enjoyed watching Lou, even though I kept sitting there going, I don't know if I trust you. You know what? But I think that YouTube does serve a purpose. It's nice to hear somebody else's voice talk about something that you're so passionate about. Because if you're all alone and you're not listening to YouTube and you own this stock, you're going to sell it because one day you're just going to have enough. And what is that going to do for you? Selling right now at these prices is going to do nothing for you. You're going to be depressed when you sell, so you might as well be depressed and hold. I'm telling you, I'll give you an example. It's like you own any other stock. If you own any other stock and you sell it today and you see it go up $3, you're going to get depressed and you're going to end up going and buying it again. And you're going to lose that money. Just hold. We are in a bear market. We are not in an AMC GME bad market. We are in a bear market. Has the shorted companies created this? Well, yeah, the people that heavily shorted, yeah, they've done all sorts of funny business. I mean, right now they're probably still trying to pay the mortgage off on Epstein Island. I mean, these are bad people. We're going up against bad people. Just remember that. So we want them to run out of liquidity. They're not making that much money off us by buying our ape shares and all that stuff. They're not making billions every day. And that's how much they need. They need billions. So say they make $1 billion off of us buying stock on the day, and they just say they make that. They're losing $10 billion every day with the stuff that they've created. And now everybody's talking about real estate is really taking a hit. So we'll see what happens. When 2008 happened, a lot of people had ARM loans. And if you don't know what that is, it's variable interest rates, meaning people bought houses. Say you bought a $300,000 house and your mortgage rate was 2%, but it was variable. And one day they said, oh, your 2% mortgage payment, it's now 6%. So now your mortgage payment that was $1,500 a month is now $3,200 a month. And it's like, people are like, well, I can't afford that. And then 3 months later, they can't afford it. And boom, bank takes your house. That's the kind of stuff that happened in 2008. Hopefully a lot of people, I don't think people learn their lesson. I think when some people are just very impulsive, they want to, when the prices on these houses were flying through the roof, unless you could afford to move, But some people were like, well, we want to move. We have to get a house. The wife is like, well, I don't care. We need to get it. You need to make more money. It's just, and they bought it and they were like, well, we can do a variable interest rate. And then in a year or two, you can just lock it in and fix it. But right now, and people probably did it. They take a risk. Well, that risk is going to blow right back in their face, because the banks are going to, when the banks don't have any money, they're coming after you. They're coming after your house. Now, if you have a fixed interest rate, just make your payments. You're fine. But if you have a variable interest rate, you're looking, it's going to get scary. It just is. The Fed is keeping the market up every time the SPY, Ryan's saying this, the SPY drops low, the Fed pumps money into AA, hedge fund, market makers, brokers are not in control. It's the Fed. Yes. So when do they stop, Ryan? That's the thing. When do they stop? When does the Fed stop doing this? And the Fed is an arm of the government. They say they're not, but they are. Fed has nothing to do with government. Oh, really? Then how come the president appoints the head of the Fed? And nothing to do with the government? They can say whatever they want, but, and I just think midterm elections, which I think midterms is what, November 8th? And then we get into AJ talking about China. I mean, I had that on my list. And and you know what's funny on my list? You know what it says? It doesn't say China. It says BlackRock. Because I personally believe BlackRock is China. Where did BlackRock come from? I know BlackRock and Vanguard are the two biggest players in the financial market. I know what Vanguard is. I have shares with them. They're one of my brokerage accounts. I don't know what BlackRock is. And when I was looking into Chinese stocks years ago, and I was a big shareholder of NEO for a while, BlackRock was heavy into NEO. Heavy. Evergrande, Falls. I bet you BlackRock was heavy into China real estate. Heavy. All this stuff is coming down the line, guys. All this stuff happening in Europe. If we had anybody from Europe, sometimes you guys get into the chat. If you're in the chat, you're not subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Come on. Show me some love. So AJ, BlackRock. Yeah, I've been thinking that is all China attacking the U.S. Dude, let me tell you something. How can, if you're, put your, it's not a tinfoil hat, but just like say, like, here's some money. Let's all be a bunch of spies. Look how our congressmen and government, look what they do for money. They'll take insider trading. They've all tripled and quadrupled their life savings. They walked into these things just making an honest income, and they walk out with $25 million. That's more than pharmaceutical companies trying to get influence. That's my opinion, but it's black and white. We see, how do our congressmen, how do our political people, how are they making so much money? Mr. Simon, are you disagreeing with me, sir? BlackRock is not real estate. Are you asking me a question? Oh, I know you're asking me. Sorry. I think they are real estate. I think they're everything. You know, BlackRock put out a tweet. It was a tweet or an ad that said, it's real interesting. Because everybody was accusing them of driving the U.S. housing prices up because they were buying houses for $50,000 over ask. And they put out a thing saying, that's not us. Big ad campaign. That's not us. We're not doing it. And then, this is what I love about apes. You can hate the word, but why don't we just call it what it is? Listen, I hate being called a meme investor. It sounds like I invest in cartoon companies, but I don't mind the whole ape thing because apes find out. So people started digging because BlackRock was saying they didn't do it. Oh, no, they didn't do it. A subsidiary of them was buying the real estate. It was still them. Yeah, Christopher, I agree with you. Yeah, there is the elitists never don't they don't have any grasp of what the world is like, and they don't know real people. They just don't. They don't know real people, so they don't know how to treat people. And it's just a bunch of spoiled little brats. Like it's like Kardashian on steroids. Yeah, and everybody's out for themselves, and it's kind of sad. It really is. But I think they listen. Hey, they taught us history in school, and there's a reason. I used to always say, I always say history is such a dumb thing to learn. I don't say that anymore because history always repeats itself. And I agree with Chris. Like, this is a financial war. And I've said this before. We are at war, whether you like it or not. We are at war, and we don't have to shoot our guns, even though I would recommend holding on to them. Because you know why the United States has never been invaded? Because they don't know where our guns are. But this is a financial war, and they've made huge mistakes. And I think it's been a global thing. And I think in the past, and this is rarely ever said, but when you manipulate and short big U.S. companies that have money, that is a way for them to pay off their bad debt. So you have made a bad bet. Maybe you bought too much real estate, or like China, they built all these skyscrapers worth of real estate that they had to blow up and burn down because they didn't have people to live there, and they were just turning into ghost towns. And they just would have ended up being like big crack houses. So you just blow them up, you lay them down. They don't have the population to fill those houses, or the population doesn't have the money to fill those houses. So they blew up like all these skyscrapers that were supposed to like house all these people. Well, they lost all that money, but they don't want to pay for that. So what do? They short American companies, because the United States is the only country that allows shorting. So you short Sears, you short Toys R Us, you short companies where you can create a narrative that people will believe. Oh, it's hard. The toy business is tough. Everybody buys everything on Amazon. Oh, that's an easy narrative. Let's illegally short them. Oh, Sears has been around forever. They're not cutting edge. They don't have an e-commerce site. Boom, let's short them. That's an easy narrative. Let's get them. I mean, you see what I'm saying? It's so easy. You can create the narrative. Let's think of a company right now. Bed Bath and Beyond. Nobody buys that kind of stuff. You always have to have a coupon, and everybody buys everything online. Short, boom, short them. Easy narrative. They don't allow these companies to make them get out of this. It's just, it's wild. It's wild. And when you short, you can pay off. You can make that money. You don't pay any taxes on it because they never close the position. And it's the game. The old man playbook has been exposed. They hate it. That's why they pay off guys like Trey and Matt Kors. I don't think they can afford me for my payoff. But somebody came in here one day, and I don't know if he's in the feed. If he probably isn't, because he would have asked a question, but somebody asked me one day, he goes, how do we know when you're going to get paid off? And I said, you'll never know. But I will tell you this. I'm a big Philadelphia Phillies fan. And I did say this a couple months ago. A month ago, 2 months ago. Mr. Simon was probably in there. And I said, one baseball cap you'll never catch me wearing. And I do wear a lot of baseball caps. You'll never catch me wearing a Mets hat. And I'll just leave it at that. Our whole existence relies on the system. These people created the money game. Yeah. And we can survive it because we're tough. So think about this. We can survive anything because we're tough. And AJ saying his wife and girls love Bed Bath & Beyond. Yeah. They love Bed Bath & Beyond. They love Target. I didn't realize till lately how much people love Target. Like women. Dudes can like it too, but the women love Target. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see Target as being that special, but okay. Not my thing. I'm not a woman, so. AJ, what I watch the most YouTube is when I'm sitting in the car when I drop my daughter off at cheerleading practice. And my wife will be like, I was like, it's so annoying. And she's like, why are you complaining? You're going to sit in your car and just watch YouTube. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Read Twitter. All right, guys. So if you have any more questions for me, it's cool hanging out. Thanks for coming into the stream. I will tell you this. So closing out Friday, I'm going to that movie premiere. I am going to stream when Adam Aaron starts talking. So hopefully you're on that stream. And I'm trying to think anything else that I need to cover. I'll be putting the video out tonight. And just subscribe. If you could share the stuff, like I said, when you share stuff like the kind of content that I put out, I feel like you're protecting your investment, because that's what I'm doing, because I'm a heavy investor, even though Chris wants to know my whole position. I'm all in on AMC and GME. So it's to my benefit that we all, do. Everybody wants my sell price. Does that mean, am I getting popular enough that now everybody wants to know what the hell I'm selling at? I'm not selling everything at one shot. I will tell you that. I know everybody has their brackets. I don't. You know what? Let me just think about this and try to figure out how I can explain this. But I'm never going to give you I'm never going to sit there and go, I'm selling everything at 5,000. I'm never going to do that. I don't really know. I've explained this before. It's just, I don't really know about sell price, because it's, there's so many other factors that will make me want to what if the price just goes from 10,000 to 3,000 and we get no news? We don't hear about hedge funds falling. We don't hear about anything there. And there's just all these halts. It's like, well, now I'm like, well, what the heck? What's going on? We should find out all this information. So it's really like what's going on in the street. But I will say this, and I said this in the beginning, and I will always hold myself to 1,500, 2,000, because I'm looking out for everybody. I think those are scary numbers. I think people are going to jump at those numbers. So Chris is going to keep Ape permanently. See, Chris, honestly, there's two theories on Ape. Ape could run to $50. Adam Aaron sells majority of what he's been allowed to sell of Ape, and Ape goes back down to $1. If you didn't play that right and that happens, who cares? I don't really even care if Ape goes to 0 right now, because if you think about it, if Ape goes to 0 and you find out that, because Adam Aaron would have already then sold, he could have already sold now. We just don't know why he's allowed to do that and not tell his shareholders. But no matter what he does, if he pays off debt, he just made AMC stronger. So we could even all sit back and go, it's like we didn't even have Ape in the first place. That's kind of how I see it. That's the worst case scenario. If he pays off all his debt and Ape goes to 0, he just made AMC a much stronger company than it was before. But it could also run to 50 and then drop down to 20 and then go to 2,000. Just Ape. Because there's no option chain to manipulate it. But as we can see, they'll do whatever the hell they want to do, because when Ape was released, it was technically like an IPO and you're not allowed to halt it. And the SEC had internet problems that day and they had 13 halts. So you see the shit that they do. So. Oh, and I'll be honest with you too, and this is the honest to God truth. When this thing squeezes and they say it goes to a 500,000 a share, I guarantee I will probably still be holding 10 shares when it goes from 500,000 to 0, because I'll never want to not be in it. I'll never not want to be in it if it ripped to something crazy. Just remember, Bitcoin went to $65,000 or more. But I know that's rough, but Bitcoin, $65,000. These prices can be hit. They can be hit. All right, guys. We'll say our goodbyes. Let me see. He can convert Ape back to AMC at some point as well. Yes. So, yes, he can convert Ape to AMC. He would be diluting the living daylights out of the stock. But if it's at a high sale price, who cares? I don't know what I said to make you not think of selling 8, but it's, we all do what we have to do. Obviously, guys, not financial advice. We are having discussions. I'm a business educator. This is what I do. So I am teaching you about the market, and you guys are teaching me as well. Great stream. Thank you. Street Cred will see you. Everybody see you. Hopefully I'll see you on the next one. And just remember, when this thing takes off, I will jump on stream. So follow me on Twitter, subscribe, share my vids, and I will see you on the next one. See ya.